Why is self-help and self-improvement important? And more specifically, why is it important to me? I recently read this article by Mark Manson that I will link below about self-improvement. And unfortunately, I don't have it up, so I'm not going to repeat specifically what he said, just because it's easier for me to get this out there to you guys as quickly as possible. But he essentially said that the problem with people that are too obsessed with self-improvement and buy too many self-improvement books and stuff like that is that they are using it as like a band-aid to the problem, and they and he said self-improvement is only important, or is only useful, like if you're solving the problem. As if like you have a broken leg, you go to the doctor and then you get your leg fixed, and that self-improvement could be like that for emotions. And I also was listening to this other podcast called Strong Opinions Loosely Held, where it was talking about self-improvement in the sense that how come people that buy self-improvement books are the same sort of people that buy them again? And they sort of said that implied that the books aren't working. And I just have such a different belief than both of these people. And I think that it honestly sort of stems down to me using extroverted feeling and having such bad extroverted thinking. I'll tell you my belief, and then I'll go into what I think that means functionally. I believe that there is no end goal, and there never will be, and that life doesn't have a magic moment where you're all of a sudden happy. I think that the happiness comes with the journey of discovering yourself, the journey of bettering yourself. That is happiness. Happiness is an activity. Happiness isn't a state of mind or a place or a destination. Happiness is the act of discovering yourself, which you'll never truly discover all the way. Happiness is the act of improving yourself and leveling up emotionally, mentally, physically, in whatever way you want. That motion of getting better and a little bit better each day, that is happiness. We aren't getting better each day because we want to reach happiness. That doesn't work. And that's what these metrics of, oh my God, how come people that read self-improvement books buy them again? It's not because it didn't work. It's because they enjoy that process and it makes them happy. And Mark Manson, I really, really enjoy his writing. If you have not checked him out, you should. He's a blogger that I really am influenced by. I believe that he's an ENTJ. And so the way that he just tells it like it is, a lot of times to me is really helpful, because then I'm like, oh, like he's explaining that, like what I need to be doing to change that I don't even realize, because with a lack of TE, I'm not even really thinking about the effect that my words and my actions have. I'm thinking about, with introverted thinking, how true is it? I'm thinking about like the efficiency of like, oh, well, I don't know. I just like to share things. I don't necessarily, like TE seems to notice things where it's like, oh, well, you said that you loved me, but you didn't do this thing, you know, whereas FE is just sort of sharing what it thinks and feels and isn't always attuned to taking the action that backs that up. We'll share our philosophies, but aren't always acting in line with the philosophy. And so I really like Mark Manson's writing, because a lot of what he says is pointing to how my own actions are incongruent with what I say and what I think. And so I really think that's helpful. And I think that his blog about self-improvement might ring true to a lot of people that don't feel like they are enough, and they feel that they're wounded and that they need to be fixed, and that they hope that by listening to a guru or a a self-help expert, a happiness expert might make them happy. But I also think a lot of people are just genuinely interested in the subject. And that's what I want to say to you is that with me, with Myers-Briggs, with self-help, I follow a lot of thought leaders in self-help, like Gretchen Rubin, Daniel Gilbert. I follow spiritual teachers like Teal Swan and Gigi Young, and I like astrology. Like, really, I've noticed that anything that has to do with how people work, how we can improve, who I am, but it doesn't stem from a need. There's not a hole that needs to be filled, at least for me. I know a lot of people that might be true is that they seek these sort of guru teachers because they want to be solved or fixed, but I enjoy that process of constantly discovering myself and constantly bettering myself. And I imagine I'll always be trying to do that the rest of my life. But that doesn't mean that it's not working. We have to think about the metrics of what are we trying to do here before you even know if it's working. If you reading a book about happiness, if that was supposed to solve your happiness and that was your intent, and we're using the metric of are they happy, yes or no, then sure, like, the book didn't work. But you're happy while reading it, you're happy while thinking about who you are, you're happy while actively improving yourself, and it's a process. And it's so cliche, but life is a journey. Like, it just really is. And I think this is one of those things where everyone says that life's a journey, they know it's a process, but they forget it in their action. They might know that they aren't, they might have heard it said, but they might not really believe it deep down, that it really is about being better a little bit each day, and you're never going to reach the destination. I mean, you gotta just get rid of that whole idea of a destination, or you won't ever be happy, or the books won't work, or the podcast won't work, and your chakra alignment, and your meditation, and your tarot cards, none of that's going to work unless you understand what it's for. And so I'll leave this off with functionally. I think that extroverted thinking is more attuned to be like, all right, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be, this is the output that I'm going to get from it, and if I don't see that direct link of the output, then I'm going to give up or something. Where it's like introverted thinking is about the process. And since I have such a lack of extroverted thinking, I literally never even considered that reading a book about happiness would solve my problem about happiness. Like, that just never even occurred to me. But I think that people, like, honestly, NFPs, even though you don't use a lot of strong, or even though you aren't a TJ, NFPs that use extroverted thinking are more susceptible to fall in this trap of thinking that something's going to fix them. Whereas people with introverted thinking are always trying to fix others and, like, fix the system. Extroverted thinkers tend to think that there's something within them that needs to be fixed, and they want to put the effort that they're going to see the result. And if you don't see the result, then it doesn't work, and then you move to something else. And a lot of my NFP friends are, like, worried about a lot of my NFP friends are worried about wasting time, and I'm not really that way. They'll be like, I want to read this book, but I don't know if it's going to help, and I don't know if it's worth my time, or if this is worth my time, or if this is worth my time. And it's more, it seems very focused on the immediate output, whereas introverted thinking is just sort of giving and putting energy on the things that you value, and then it'll probably come back to you. And I mean, just to clarify that thought, I'll say for me as an FJ, I give and I give to the things that I think deserve my time. And if I think it's important, then I'm going to give mental energy and emotional energy to it. And I'm really not thinking about what I'm getting in return. I'm just doing it because from my introverted thinking, I'm like, well, what do I think makes sense? What do I think matters? And then I give the energy to that, and I don't think about, well, what does the world want me to put energy toward? What does this person say should I put energy toward? It's about my own introverted thinking philosophy about what I care about, what I think makes sense, and then especially as a ENFJ, ESFJs are similar, but with strong extroverted feeling, I'm gonna just give to all the things that I think matter, which to me are my own personal development, my friends, my family, and any relationship that I'm in. That's important to me because I think that that helps me in my life be a better person and be a happier person. And so I'm getting something from it. Whenever I'm giving to the people in my life that I think matter, I'm not like waiting for them to give something to me. It's like I'm not looking for the TE of, okay, now what are you giving me? Like, where's the output? Like, I'm almost immune to the output. And I think that a lot of other FJs might sort of get themselves an issue where they don't even realize that maybe they're putting their energy in places that aren't getting them to where they want to be, and they need to sort of realign their introverted thinking and be like, well, where do I want to be? Well, what do I think? Well, what do I think is important? And then once they do that, then they could be on the right track again. But it's more of an extroverted thinking thing to think about, all right, I did this, and then it resulted in this. And I don't think of that. And I think that it helps me in the sense of thinking about life as a journey. And so it could be hard for people with stronger extroverted thinking than me, even TPs that use extroverted thinking more than me, might still get into this trap of like, is this even worth my time? What am I getting out of it directly? And me, as an ENFJ, but especially someone that values introverted thinking and uses extroverted feeling, I'm not really looking at a direct impact on me. I am very comfortable with getting all of what I give back indirectly. I'm very comfortable in that space of indirect, of like networking a ton, and then you never know if that person could help you. Just being friendly just for the sake of being friendly, and then establishing the persona of being a friendly person and a trustworthy person, and then you talk to someone, and then they know someone who knows someone that's looking for someone to do a job or a role, and then you're perfect, and then your name is dropped because you're known for being friendly and trustworthy. Like, I'm very comfortable in that space of just like making it a rule, like I'm gonna act like this at all times, and I trust that it will benefit me in ways that I can't even predict. I don't even try and predict the output. But extroverted thinkers seem to do this, and so I'm not saying that my way is better. I'm just gonna end this on saying that I think that the best way that we can use Myers-Briggs and Carl Jung's cognitive functions and socionics is to learn from the opposite. I think that FE users need to learn from TE users and be like, all right, FE understands this, and what does TE understand? TE understands, like, don't burn yourself out too much, like, don't give in fruitless scenarios. And so it's a balance there. So yeah, this is why I really value self-improvement. If you're a person that feels in the trap of using self-improvement in the wrong way, think about why you're doing it. Are you deeply fascinated by human psyche and how people work? And if that's your main reason, then keep reading self-help books. Keep reading about Myers-Briggs. Keep watching these videos. Keep watching my videos. And subscribe if you liked it. That sounds so weird for me to say. I don't know how to be self-promotional. But anyway, you get the point. Think about why you're doing the thing and consider your own metrics for if it's working for you. Thank you for watching, and have a great afternoon.